Hey, what's up YouTubers, and welcome back to part 3 of my Western collection. So in part 1 we looked at the VHS tapes, and part 2 we did the first 2 shelves, and this will be part 3. We're going to do these 2 shelves, and there will be one more part after this, which will be the multi-packs, box sets, television series, etc. So get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack, and we'll check out these 2 shelves of Western movies. So me and my bestie right here, Hannah, we're going to spend a little time together here talking about some Western movies. This dog is always by my side, no matter what. And she's been a really good friend to me, and I love that dog. So let me see if I can kind of squeeze in here. It's kind of a tight fit, but we'll make it work. And so I do have the DVDs and Blu-rays mixed together for these videos, but normally I keep the Blu-rays separate and I keep those alphabetized. So the first one here is called I Will Fight No More Forever, starring Sam Elliott. Next one was, I think this was a Dollar Tree buy. This was called Jesse James versus the Black Train, The Legend of the Unstoppable Outlaw. Haven't watched it. This one's a classic. This was a very early release on DVD. It came in a snapper case. Excellent movie, Jeremiah Johnson, starring the great Robert Redford. I love that movie. Next one is a double bill from Code Red, but only one of the movies is a Western, and that is Joshua. It's kind of a blaxploitation Western. Very good movie. I love Fred the Hammer Williamson. He's really great. Next one is a Criterion Blu-ray. This is called Jubal, starring Glenn Ford. Nice, really nice edition. The movie came out in, I don't think it was 54, was it? 56, 1956. Next one is from Anchor Bay, and this is a Franco Nero movie called Kioma. And Franco Nero is one of the best to ever do it. Italian actor, was in a lot of different genres, but he was really great in these spaghetti westerns. And this is called Franco Nero in Kioma 2. Also has John Saxon in it as well. And we have an Arrow Blu-ray. This is called Kill and Pray. This is a good movie. Nice release by Arrow. Really enjoy this one. And starring the great Chuck Connors, who played the rifleman. This one's called Kill Them All and Come Back Alone. This is an Enzo G. Castellari movie. Another great movie. I recommend that one. So the next one here is a German release, and this is called Last of the Bad Men from 1967. Here's another dollar movie called The Last Days of Billy the Kid. Here's a little, this is kind of a cheap, you could probably get this for under $10. And you get 2 movies on here, and I think this is really worth it for the price. You get The Last Gun, and you get $4 of Revenge. Spaghetti Western double feature. That's a good one to pick up if you don't have it. Another dollar movie, The Last Gunslinger. Is that Thomas Hayden Church? It is not. I don't see his name on there. That print is so small I can barely see it. I don't don't think it is him, though. Here's a Twilight Time release called Lawman. Great cast. You got Burt Lancaster and you got Lee J. Cobb, Lee J. Cobb was a mentor to Frank Sinatra. He was a great actor in his own right. It's a good movie. So here's Lonesome Dove, the complete season 1, the series. The Long Riders. So you got a couple groups of brothers in here. You have the Carradine brothers, David, Keith, and Robert. And you have the Quaid brothers, Dennis and Randy. And then you have the Guest brothers, Christopher and Nicholas. At least I think the Guests were brothers. I don't really know much about them. Might be a father and son. I don't know for sure. Code Red release of A Long Ride from Hell, starring Steve Reeves, who was the original, or not the original, but was an original Hercules back in the day. And then I upgraded that to Blu-ray some years after that. Same movie, just an upgrade. And I got a little box set here of the Magnificent Seven collection. And in this set, you get 3 movies. Return of the Magnificent, well, you actually get 4, because you get the Magnificent Seven, the original, and then you get 3 sequels. Return of the Magnificent Seven, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, and the Magnificent Seven Ride. And these are fun movies, and a great cast as well. Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, James Coburn, Yul Brynner. I mean, these were all the tough guys of Hollywood back in the day. And then there was a remake, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, give or take, which was okay. It was all right. This is the steelbook of it. Oops. There we go. On Blu-ray, I have A Man Called Horse, starring Richard Harris. This is a fun movie. I think it's based on a true story, if I remember. A white man who lives with the natives. The Man from Laramie, Twilight Time, starring James Stewart. Great movie. This one, 1955, I think. Is that what that says down there? Hold on a second. Yeah, 1955. Very, very good set here. I don't really need to say much about this. Everybody knows the Man with No Name trilogy, starring Clint Eastwood. You get a fistful of dollars for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Excellent movies. All directed by one of the greats, Sergio Leone. And has a soundtrack from one of probably the greatest, Ennio Morricone. Probably the best Western actor of all time, Clint Eastwood. So this is a great set to get. I mean, these have been upgraded by now. You can get all of these on 4K. I've had this for many, many years, but you can probably get this dirt cheap now. Everything's been upgraded. But if you're going to watch them, I guess get them on 4K. Next one is another Criterion release. This is called McCabe and Mrs. Miller, 1971, starring Warren Beatty. Haven't watched that one yet. Here is the German release of The Mercenary, starring Franco Nero and also co-stars Jack Palance. This is the German release of it. And then I got the American release from Kino, same movie. Excellent movie, too. Anything with Franco Nero in it is money in the bank. And then there was also a Blu-ray from 88 Films, same movie. Let me put these up side by side so we can take them all in. Without dumping everything here. So you got the 88 Films. German release and the Kino release. another Kino release called A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die. And actually, I had the DVD of this, and I don't know why I put it. I think I must have put it in the A section without paying attention, because I think we did show that on shelf 1. But this is the Blu-ray upgrade of that same movie, starring Alex Cord, Lee Marvin, and Monty Walsh. And Jack Palance is in this one as well. You can see Jack Palance there on the cover. And Lee Marvin and Jack Palance. More Dead Than Alive, another great actor in the genre, was Clint Walker. This one also has Vincent Price in it. So if you want to see Vincent Price in a Western, if you can, I don't know if we're going to be able to make that out. There he is. If you ever want to see Vincent Price in a Western, a R-rated Western at that, check out More Dead Than Alive. It's a good movie. Here's an oldie but a goodie. This is Henry Fonda in My Darling Clementine. This was directed by the great John Ford. It's a 1946 movie. So this is the Arrow Video release. I'm sorry, this is the Criterion release. This is the Arrow Video release. So it's the same exact movie, just different company, different cover. The next one is a little box set from Germany. This is a twin billing of My Name Is Nobody, starring Terence Hill. And part 2, I believe it was called My Name Is Still Nobody, or Nobody Is Still My Name, something like that. You get both movies in this beautiful set. Really nice edition there. I love that one. And then here is the American Blu-ray release, the 40th anniversary edition. This edition is amazing. This is a great movie. It has a really quirky soundtrack. Henry Fonda is kind of the straight man in this movie. Terence Hill is kind of the clown prince of spaghetti westerns. He kind of made a name for himself in that regard. But these guys together, it worked pretty well. And I do recommend watching this. I may watch this one tonight again. I'll give it another watch. This is a really good movie. I recommend picking that one up if you can get that. I'm sure you can find it just about anywhere. And then this is called Man of the East from 1972, also starring Terence Hill. Terence Hill's a great actor, but he did a lot of comedy stuff. He was always kind of paired up with Bud Spencer, and they were great together too. Here's a couple editions of Navajo Joe. So the one on the left is the U.S. Kino release, starring Burt Reynolds, who plays a Navajo Indian in this movie. And this is the 88 Films from England release of the same movie. And I have a bunch of editions of this movie. This is one of the greats. This has an all-star cast. I'm going to have to stretch these out. Stretch these out so we can take them all in. So on the far left is the Digipack edition on DVD of Once Upon a Time in the West. Another Sergio Leone movie. And you get a lot of bonus features on that one. Henry Fonda, Jason Robards. There's a huge cast. Claudia Cardinal is in this movie. She's actually still with us. And if you're interested, she has a fan website. So just look up Claudia Cardinal website. Her name's at the top. And you can go to her website and she'll sign things for you for a fee, and that's pretty cool because she's kind of one of the golden age actresses that are still with us that are willing to sign for money. So I think that's awesome. And then we have a fat pack here on DVDs, same movie. So this was the first release I bought right here, and then this was a British kind of an upgrade because it had better special features. So this is British, this is American. This is the British Steelbook. Is it a Steelbook? Yeah. the British Steelbook on Blu-ray, same movie, and this is the US Blu-ray. So I love this movie. I'm glad to have all these editions of it. So we're coming to the end of this shelf. We got a couple more. Here's a Criterion release of One-Eyed Jacks, directed by and starring Marlon Brando. Movie from 1961. It's a 4K restoration of the movie. Next one, I believe this is another Dollar Tree movie, Out of the Wild. Haven't seen it yet. One of my favorites, if not, I change my mind every couple days. So one day this is my favorite Western. The next day Tombstone's my favorite Western. But either way, this is a great, great movie. Directed by, starring Clint Eastwood, the outlaw Josie Wales. One of the best Westerns ever made, and so many great one-liners in this movie. And a great cast, too. Chief Dan George, Sandra Locke, Bill McKinney, John Vernon as Fletcher. I believe Bill McKinney was Redlegs, right? Beautiful, beautiful movie. I absolutely love this. This is the American Digibook. So there's a little book inside with the Blu-ray. Really, really nice edition. I love it. And the last one for this shelf is another excellent movie. This one should be watched by everybody at least once. This is called The Oxbow Incident. This movie is it's open to interpretation at the end. It kind of leaves the end open, which I really love the way that they did with this movie. I'm not going to give anything away, but you need to watch this movie and watch the ending. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this. I don't want to say much about it because I don't want to sway people one way or the other. But I love this movie. It's excellent. This one stars Henry Fonda. Sorry. Henry Morgan also, who was Colonel Potter in MASH. Anthony Quinn was in this movie. He was excellent. This is a really, really great, great movie. One of my favorites, Oxbow Incident. And this is the Arrow Video Blu-ray release of it. So that concludes this shelf. We have one more for this video, and I'm going to go get something to drink, and we'll finish up this video. Okay, so this shelf is going to be a little tricky. I don't have much room to work with, but we will make it work. The first one is called Pat Garrity and Billy the Kid, 2-disc special edition, directed by Sam Peckinpah. Another great cast. You get James Coburn, Chris Christopherson, and Bob Dylan. Great movie. Arrow Video released this twin billing of A Pistol for Ringo and The Return of Ringo. I recommend that one. It's a good one. This is called The Proposition. Let me get a better angle here so we get that glare off. I enjoyed this one as well. This one stars Guy Pearce. Emily Watson's also in it. John Hurt. Great movie. Kino Lorber, A Reason to Live, A Reason to Die. James Coburn again. And this time you get Telly Savalas and Bud Spencer. It's a fun movie. Criterion release, if you want to watch the great John Wayne as a bad guy, you watch him in Red River. It's a movie by Howard Hawks. This is one of my favorite John Wayne movies. This is probably my number two favorite John Wayne movie. This one also co-stars Montgomery Clift, who he's the good guy in the movie, and John Wayne's the bad guy. And I'm not going to give anything away, but you do need to watch this movie. It's from 1948, Red River. It's not often you get to see John Wayne play the heel, but he does. He plays a great heel in that movie. What the heck was that? I don't know what that was. Something just fell over. Also on Kino Blu-ray, this is Return of Sabata with Lee Van Cleef. One of the best. I don't know what fell. Next one's called The Revengers. I love Ernest Borgnine. That guy was great. The brother Woody Strode is in the movie. Here, hold on, I'll pull this out so we can look at this a little closer. This is a good movie. So there's Woody Strode right there. Great. He was a great, great actor. Ernest Borgnine and William Holden. Interesting little fact about Ernest Borgnine. Before he passed away, he took a cross-country road trip in an RV and he recorded it. And you can find those on YouTube here, and I recommend watching those. Those are really great. He was such a nice guy in real life, and you can see how that comes out in those videos because he meets complete strangers during his travels. He's very, very open to meeting his fans and talking to people, and it was really fun to watch that. He was one of the best to ever do it. Ernest Borgnine, I really like that guy a lot. If you ever get bored or if you want to check that out, just search it on YouTube. You can find it. His RV travels. Here's another Kino Blu-ray. It's from the Mario Bava collection. This is Roy Colt and Winchester Jack. Another one of my favorite actors of all time is James Cagney. This is him in a Western called Run for Cover. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Here's the original, Sabata, starring Lee Van Cleef. Here's a Burt Reynolds movie, a Western movie called Sam Whiskey. Also has Clint Walker. Also has Angie Dickinson. Angie Dickinson was always gorgeous. She's one of my favorite babes of all time. And she's still with us too. She's in her 90s now. Unfortunately, she doesn't sign anymore. I tried to reach out to her and see if I can get a couple things signed from her, but she doesn't do that anymore. Next movie is a classic. Really enjoy this movie as well. This one is Shane, starring Alan Ladd, who I thought was a pretty good gunfighter in this movie. This is kind of a corny Western, but it's a family movie. It's not very violent, and it talks about like bullying, and the good guy wins at the end. Jack Palance was the bully. He wasn't the main bully, but he was like he was the fastest gun bully. He was kind of like a hitman, if you will, or like a hired gun to go after Shane. And yeah, very good movie. So where did I leave off here? Sam Whiskey. I recommend Shane. It's got that iconic ending with that little boy yelling out to Shane as he rides away on his horse. Shane! Shane, come back! Shane! It's a good movie, though. This is a German release of Shoot the Living and Pray for the Dead from 1971. I had to write it on the back because I simply can't remember all the titles that are in foreign language. Christopher Walken and Margot Kidder and Jeffrey Lewis. Shoot the Sun Down. Remastered, high def. This is a good movie here too. This is Sundown at Boot Hill, or Showdown at Boot Hill, I'm sorry. Starring Charles Bronson. You also have John Carradine in here as well. Here's a German media book from 84 Films, or 84 Entertainment rather. And this is called Blue Soldier, starring Candice Bergen, who plays a native in the movie. This one came out, I believe, in the 70s, 1970 exactly. Pretty nice edition. Next one's called The Specialists, filmed by Sergio Corbucci. This is a great movie. It's very gritty, very violent. And this is the German DVD of the same movie. Les Spécialistes. Is this German or is this French? I'm thinking it's French now. Because Les Spécialistes sounds like French. But that's a great movie though. Here's another Criterion Blu-ray called Stagecoach, directed by the great John Ford, 1939. This one here is The Silent Stranger, starring Tony Anthony. He kind of turned into that character, the Stranger. He did some other sequels. Here's The Stranger Collection, starring who we just talked about, Tony Anthony. So I think there was a trilogy. By the time this was over, I think there was 3 movies made about this stranger, all starring Tony Anthony. And these were, I think, 1967, I want to say. Somewhere in there. Give or take a year. It's a nice little box set, though. I'll show you what the inside looks like. You get 3 discs. A Stranger in Town, The Stranger Returns, and The Stranger Returns disc 3. Here's a twin billing from Twilight Time, starring James Garner. Support your local sheriff and support your local gunfighter. Criterion DVD, take a hard ride. Another excellent cast. You got Lee Van Cleef, and you got James Brown and Fred Williamson, and Jim Kelly, Barry Sullivan. This is a great movie. This is where the spaghetti meets the blaxploitation, and this was very well done. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. Next one on Blu-ray is called Tepepa, starring Tomas Milian, one of my favorites. This movie was excellent. Terror in a Texas Town. It's about an immigrant, I believe from Norway. Is it Norway? Who comes to the American West to set up shop and make a life for himself, but he's bullied and they try to run him out of town because his land is very valuable. I believe, from what I remember, that he purchased a piece of land unknowing that it had oil on the land, and they didn't find out until after he purchased the land, if I'm remembering this right. And so the town bullies, outlaws, gunmen try to run him out of town, and they do some terrible things to his family. And you can't help but cheer for the guy. And he uses this big harpoon as his weapon, and they all have guns and horses and stuff like that, and he's got this harpoon. And this movie is amazing. I really love this movie. It took me a long time to watch this, and I actually, for the first time, I watched this during the COVID lockdown. When we were all locked down, I popped this in, and I wish I would have watched this a lot sooner, because this movie is amazing. I really recommend that one quite a bit. And by the way, this is the Arrow Video Blu-ray of it. Terror in a Texas Town. Put that on your wish list. The other one I was talking about earlier, Tombstone. So this is my favorite movie every other day for Westerns. This is the Goodfellas of Western movies. I don't have anything to say that you guys don't know about already for this movie. Great cast, great story, great one-liners. I mean, it's just a memorable, very fun movie to watch. A Town Called Hell, another gritty, violent Western. Great cast. Got the lovely Stella Stevens here. There's a Trinity Twin Pack Blu-ray. You got They Call Me Trinity and Trinity Is Still My Name. Fun movies. Here's the remake of my favorite John Wayne movie, but John Wayne obviously had nothing to do with this one. He was long dead. But this is the remake of True Grit. And I love this movie just as much as the original. Another great cast. This one is a lot more gritty than the original, but that's just, I guess, the sign of the times. The Twilight Time release of Two Rode Together. James Stewart is in this one as well. And Richard Widmark. That's it. I couldn't think of his name. Both excellent actors. Here's a John Wayne twin bill. You get The Undefeated and North to Alaska. Both movies come on their own disc. Put that there for a second. This one is called The Ugly Ones. So, hold on a second. Let me put this back. This is the German release of the movie called The Ugly Ones. And this one stars Tomas Milian again. Here's the 4K of Unforgiven, starring Clint Eastwood. Excellent movie. And here's the Blu-ray digibook. Let me see, get that glare off of there. One of the best movies ever. This might have been his last great Western, I think. 1992. I think in this one there was a nice bonus feature with an interview on Eastwood. I think it was called Eastwood on Eastwood, wasn't it? If I'm remembering correctly. Eastwood on Eastwood. It was a 1997 interview, and that's included on that. Another Kino title called The Unholy Four. This is excellent. This is a great movie. Woody Strode is in this movie again. Valdez is coming. Burt Lancaster. They tore his body, they buried his pride, but they forgot his Sharps rifle and his buffalo gun. Oh no, they didn't forget his buffalo gun. Game over, guys. Here's Vengeance. This is the Code Red DVD, starring Richard Harrison. It's an Antonio Margheriti movie. And then I upgraded it to Blu-ray, also from Code Red. Same movie, just the one on the left is the DVD and the one on the right is the Blu-ray. The Charles Bronson movie called The White Buffalo. Charles Bronson was great. Wild Bill, starring Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges knocked it out of the park as Wild Bill. Here's a Dollar Tree movie called Wild Horses. Every once in a while you can find a Blu-ray. It's becoming more and more common, actually, to find Blu-rays at Dollar Tree. This is called Yankee. Tinto Brass movie. This is a movie from a fellow Wisconsinite. I crowdfunded this with him or for him or however you want to. He was taking what do you call it, donations, or you can support his work. Ross Bigley. He's a Milwaukee guy, and so they did this movie called Yellow Hill, starring Bai Ling, A Stranger's Tale, and I got this one all signed up from the cast. This was a while ago. This was probably 10 years ago or more. I had to take a little break. I was starting to get a cramp in my lower back. So there's only two left here. We got Young Billy Young, starring Robert Mitchum, who was always a great heel. You know, he played a great villain, but that guy was one hell of an actor, man. Robert Mitchum was great. And you have the lovely, gorgeous Angie Dickinson in this one as well. This is a movie from 1969. And the last one for the fourth shelf is Young Guns. I never did upgrade this one to Blu-ray, but I will at some point. This is a great, more kind of a modern take on the Westerns, even though this movie's got to be 30 years old by now. It's not that modern anymore, but came out in 1988. Great cast. Really, really fun movie. So that will do it for part 3. Hope you guys enjoyed this little series so far. I hope I was able to give you guys some suggestions. And of course, it works both ways. If you guys feel like you want to give me a suggestion or 2 or 10, I always write them down, and if they sound great, I'll pick them up. So thank you for watching. Take care, and I probably won't upload another video before Christmas, so I want to wish all of you out there Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have the best time doing it. Be safe, be happy, be good to each other. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.